With Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Let's talk about Invisalign or clear aligner cases on a case where it was pretty complicated. Maybe you started with a ton of posterior IPR or some sequential distalization at the beginning and you finished your aligners and or you got off track and you're like, oh, when I do this refinement, do I need more IPR? Do I need more sequential distalization? And I caution you guys to really actually look at I have two videos I want you to watch. Hit pause on this one, open up a new tab, and I have two videos. I'm just gonna give you the keyword to look up. The keyword is debond workflow, debond workflow. I have two aligner ones that I'd love for you to watch to understand kind of how an orthodontist thinks when they approach the end of a case or a refinement, like what's next, you know? So for a case that's pretty self-explanatory, that doesn't have complex movements like a ton of posterior IPR or a sequential distalization, it should be probably fine, assuming nothing has gone off the rails in terms of tracking, compliance, weird things happening, strange bites, POBs, interferences. It should, blunted roots. It should be fine to just take that progress pano and just pair that Clincheck, assuming that you had it checked by an orthodontist at the beginning, and it's a good speed and everything, and there's nothing strange happening, to pair it with the plan, and just reboot. But on more complex cases, you really have to go back to the beginning. So I always recommend space mapping. And if you go through my debond workflow forms, you'll see that's something, I tell you to get out the floss, get out the IPR gauge, and check all the spaces. Where do I have open contacts? You cannot just rely on your scanner to pick them up, because a lot of times it doesn't. And now I have another video. I actually want you to hit pause, assuming you've listened to those debond workflows, and go into my YouTube channel and put in the keyword ghost, like boo, like Halloween, ghost IPR, ghost IPR. Watch my ghost IPR videos as well. So map your spaces with an IPR gauge. If it's more than 0.5 millimeters, then that's a big space. It should get picked up by the iTero if it's more than that, but sometimes they don't. That's why you need the ghost IPR. Do that, get your contacts, and really make sure your bite is fully set. Of course, you need to take those, again, another video I want you to watch. I have some oldies but goodies, going back 8 years. So hang on, I forgot the keywords for this one. So while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna look it up. I know the keywords are pano, P-A-N-O, and sequential distalization. Let me look it up. You probably can just put in pano and sequential. See if it comes up. Yes, the first video that comes up is called Treatment Planning for Clear Aligner / Invisalign Sequential Distalization Cases, SD, Progress Pano. It's a long word. I threw all kind of keywords in there. I can't tell you how many times, Invisalign is not going to know if you're running those terminal molars into the ramus. And you can't always tell from the CBCT either. They're not going to know if you're running it into the maxillary tuberosity. You have to check and see if you ran out of space. And a lot of times you do. And then I've seen cases where damage occurs. So always take your progress pano, always map your spaces and reboot. And remember, if you're gonna start the sequential all over again, that's another year and a half, 2 years. So if you got off track, usually I just leave the molars where they are and just close up whatever spaces. When you reboot, make sure you're not mesializing and undoing all the hard work you already did. So again, don't trust the technicians. Work with an orthodontist to make sure your plan works out well. All right, thanks so much.